He opened the door and closed an entire life behind it. Not with raised voices, not with tears, but in an icy silence where every word weighed more than a scream. 8 years, reduced to the turn of a key. She left, confident she'd return. But in that time, he changed more than just the locks. He erased her presence from the home like a stain that had been tolerated too long. And then came the confession. Too late, and more terrifying than he ever imagined. Recorded in a trembling voice, with a plea in every word. But what's the point of repentance when it comes at a closed door? Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends or family. It really helps my channel a lot. Please tell me in which city or country you watch this video. I value every one of your comments. So, let's get started. My name is Gavin, and for the longest time, I genuinely thought I had found something rare. I wasn't oblivious. I chose to believe. I valued personal freedom and trusted in mutual respect. I never needed to install tracking apps or rifle through messages. In my mind, true love didn't need monitoring. It just existed, solid and unquestioned. Julia and I were together for 8 years, 5 of those as husband and wife. She was sharp, independent, always chasing the next big opportunity in her marketing career. People naturally gravitated toward her. She had this undeniable pull, a blend of charisma and certainty that filled every room. And she knew the effect she had. I never faulted her for that. Jealousy wasn't something I struggled with. To me, it always felt like admitting you were unsure of yourself. But over time, I started to sense a shift. Nothing overt or explosive, just a slow drift. Julia began to test boundaries. Work gatherings started to go later, sometimes stretching past midnight, even into the early hours. When I'd ask, she brushed it off. It just went long, or, you know how these things get. Her replies were smooth, detached, delivered with that effortless deflection that made me feel silly for even questioning her. And I let it pass. Over and over, until Monica showed up. She mentioned him casually one evening while we were cooking, said he was part of some product launch team. Just an old friend, she tossed out, slicing onions as if the conversation barely mattered. I asked what kind of friend. Without hesitation, she replied, my ex-husband. I stopped mid-motion, a spoon hovering over the sauce. Your ex-husband? I repeated. She laughed softly. Come on, Gavin. That was a lifetime ago. We're just friends now. He runs a creative agency, and one of our clients brought him in. It's really nothing. Then she looked at me. You're not about to turn this into some drama, are you? I didn't. I should have. But I still believed that real love could handle a complicated backstory. I told myself Monica was just that, someone from a closed chapter. I prided myself on not being the man who feared ghosts from the past. That's where I miscalculated. Monica wasn't a shadow. He was very much in the picture. I was about to find out just how blind I'd been. About 3 months after she reconnected with him, his name started surfacing more regularly. Monica's team is taking over the branding, she said over coffee. Monica asked for my thoughts on the new concept. She mumbled while checking her phone. Monica said the funniest thing today. You get the idea. At first, I played it cool. I'd nod, sip my drink, mutter something vague like, sounds interesting. But her tone when she said his name, it changed, like she was watching me, like she was measuring my reaction. One night while we were curled up watching a series, she burst out laughing at something on her phone. I leaned in. Who's that? I asked. She angled the screen away. Just Monica. He's being ridiculous. I paused the episode. You two talk after hours now? She gave me that half-smirk, half-innocent look. It's nothing, Gavin. We're just talking. Don't make it weird. I didn't push. I wanted to. But I held back. Later that night, after she'd gone to bed, I stayed up, sitting at the kitchen table. I wasn't angry. Not yet. But something had definitely shifted. A quiet line was being drawn. Then came the moment everything tipped. About a week later, we were finishing the dishes when she dropped it like she was mentioning a staff meeting. "Monica's hosting a few of us at his lake house next weekend. Just a small getaway for the team. Some drinks, maybe a little downtime. Nothing crazy," she added. I turned off the tap and grabbed a towel. "You're actually going?" I asked. She shrugged. "Yeah, it's kind of a work/unwind thing. I've been running nonstop for months. Don't I deserve a break?" I looked her in the eye. "You're seriously going to spend the weekend at your ex-husband's place?" She didn't blink. "It's not like it's just the two of us. It's a group. Totally professional." My voice tightened. "You could have passed. You didn't have to say yes." She sighed, already exasperated. "Why would I turn it down? We're adults, Gavin. Nothing's going to happen. Monica and I are just friends." I let out a slow breath. "You keep saying that, but everything about the way you talk about him suggests otherwise. You light up when he messages. You bring him up constantly. You don't even notice how different you are around him." She paused, dish still in hand. "You're overthinking this. I haven't done anything wrong." "Not yet," I said quietly. "But you're pushing. You're seeing how far you can take this before I finally say no more." She tilted her head, eyes narrowing. "So, this is your line? You're drawing it now?" I nodded, calm but firm. "If you go," I said, drying my hands, "don't come back." She turned fully to face me, still holding the plate. "Are you actually serious right now?" I kept my voice level. No trembling, no hesitation. She responded with that smug little grin she always used, the one that implied I was being melodramatic or insecure. "Oh, Gavin, don't be so dramatic," she said with a dismissive flick of her hand. "This isn't some teenage romance," she added, voice clipped. "No," I said calmly, setting my plate gently on the kitchen counter. "It's a marriage, and you're pushing it right to the edge." She studied me, eyes narrowing, as if trying to decode whether this was real or just another argument she could shrug off or charm her way through. But this wasn't one of those moments, and something in my tone, maybe the calmness, landed differently. For the first time, I could see it register. She didn't fully believe I'd go through with anything, but this time, something in her shifted, a sliver of doubt. The morning she was supposed to leave, she moved around the house like it was any other day. She hummed while folding her clothes, matched her outfits with care, lingered over her makeup like she was prepping for brunch with friends. She threw me the occasional glance, waiting for a reaction, for me to say something, stop her, argue. I didn't. I sat at the table, sipping my coffee and scrolling through my phone, calm and expressionless. Eventually, she leaned against the doorframe, trying to appear casual. "You're really ending our marriage over one weekend?" I didn't look up. "If you walk out that door, this ends." She crossed her arms. "This is insane, Gavin. It's just a couple of days. You're blowing it out of proportion." I stood, walked past her, and opened the front door. She blinked, thrown. "Are you serious? That's it?" "That's it," I said. There was a beat of silence, then she rolled her suitcase to the door. She leaned in and pressed a soft kiss to my cheek, more out of habit than affection, like she thought I was overreacting and she was humoring me. "You'll cool off," she said under her breath, stepping through the door. I watched her toss her luggage into the trunk of an Uber and get in without a glance back. The second the car disappeared around the corner, I grabbed my phone and called a locksmith. He showed up less than an hour later. While he worked on the locks, I started gathering her things. No anger, no theatrics, just quiet purpose. Her clothes, her shoes, makeup, the book she left on the nightstand. Everything went into boxes. I left nothing behind that could pull her back. I arranged to have the boxes sent to her sister's place. She wouldn't go to her parents. They'd ask too many questions. But Maggie? Maggie would stay quiet. Just nod, keep her mouth shut, and let it all slide. The last call I made that afternoon was to my lawyer. "I'm ready to file," I told him. I wasn't seeking revenge. I didn't want a dramatic showdown. I didn't want her back either. All I wanted was quiet. And for the first time, I was ready to do what it took to have it. She came back sooner than expected. I thought I had until Sunday night. But Saturday afternoon, my phone buzzed with a security alert. Front door camera. I was in the middle of a meeting at work when I glanced down and saw her standing on the porch, suitcase in hand. I excused myself, stepped into the hallway, and pulled up the live feed. She tried the doorknob once, then again, a third time. Her face twisted from confusion to frustration. She looked around, like she didn't recognize the place anymore. Then she pulled out her phone. Moments later, mine lit up. "Gavin?" Her voice was tight. "The door's locked, I can't get in." "I changed the locks," I said evenly. A beat passed. "What?" "I told you. If you left, you wouldn't be coming back." She gave a hollow, disbelieving laugh. "You're kidding. This is absurd. Can we please talk?" "There's nothing left to talk about. Your stuff's at Maggie's. The divorce papers will be with you next week." "You're really doing this?" she asked, her voice cracking. "Yes." She went quiet. I could hear her breathing, shaky, uncertain. Then, barely audible, "Can I at least come in, please? We can talk. I didn't even stay the whole weekend. I came back early." "That was your choice," I said. "Just like this is mine." I hung up. She called again, and once more after that. I let every call ring through. Then the text came. "You're making a huge mistake. You're throwing away everything we've built. You're acting like a child." I didn't respond. Later, another alert. She was sitting on the steps, elbows on her knees, staring at her phone like it had all turned against her. She looked like someone who had finally realized the game was over, and she'd lost. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel satisfaction either. I just felt done. Eventually, she left. That night, I put my phone on silent. I didn't have the patience to witness her unraveling. Whatever version of the story she planned to spin, I was already ahead of her. Sometime past midnight, I saw a notification, a voice memo. I hovered for a second, then tapped play. Her voice came through raw and frayed, like she'd been crying for hours. "Gavin, please, just hear me out. I didn't know how else to say this. I messed everything up. You were right. About Monica. It wasn't innocent. He wasn't just being friendly. It wasn't just a group trip. Yeah, he invited others, but I was the reason. I get that now. I was foolish. Thought I had control over everything." Her voice trembled, strained with guilt. I could hear the uneven rhythm of her steps against the porch boards. She was pacing. "He waited until I'd had too much to drink," she said softly, barely audible. Everyone else had gone to bed. Somehow, it ended up just the two of us. I lingered. I shouldn't have. None of it was supposed to happen. There was a long pause. Then she confessed. "He recorded it," she said, her voice barely holding together. "I didn't even realize until the next morning. He showed me the footage, said he'd keep it to himself if I stayed quiet. He's blackmailing me." I stood motionless in the kitchen, phone pressed to my ear, listening to her unravel. "He won't answer my calls now. He knows it's done. I'm terrified, Gavin. I never wanted any of this." And then her voice cracked open completely. She broke down, sobbing between gasps, words colliding with panic. "Please don't leave me. I need you. I made a mistake. I didn't know what I was doing." Her final words, "Please, come outside." The voicemail ended. I glanced at the front door, then through the window. She was there, pacing back and forth on the porch, clutching her phone like it was the only thing holding her upright. But I didn't open the door. I reached for my phone, pulled up our messages, and typed a single sentence. You made this choice. Now live with it. Then I blocked her. And I went to bed. Sunday passed in complete silence. Julia vanished from my messages, my inbox, my social feeds. I wiped every trace clean. By Monday, I returned to my usual routine. New shirt, coffee in hand, mind clear. Around noon, my attorney emailed me. Divorce papers finalized. I signed and returned them within the hour. Tuesday brought the ripple effect. Maggie, her sister, texted, "She's not okay. Maybe you should talk to her." I didn't respond. A few old mutual friends tried reaching out, offering tired lines like, "It was one mistake," or "Don't let a single night ruin everything." One even said, "If you ever loved her, you'd let her explain." I didn't read past the opening lines. I deleted them all. They hadn't seen the years I spent holding things together, cleaning up after her, shielding her from the consequences she refused to face. They didn't know the warnings I'd given, over and over. After Maggie asked her to leave, Julia moved back in with her parents. Her father, traditional and always wary of Monica, even during the marriage, was reportedly furious. She tried to downplay everything, claimed it was just a weekend getaway. Then her mother called me. Her voice was soft, steady. "I'm not calling to fix anything, Gavin. Just wanted you to know, we understand. You didn't deserve this. We're sorry." I told her thank you. That was the end of it. As for Monica, once he realized Julia might go to the police, once he saw she was talking, he vanished, deleted everything, quit his job, disappeared. She had risked everything for someone who bolted the moment things got real. I never looked back. I kept going. It's been nearly a year. Every now and then, someone, an old co-worker, a friend, asks, "Whatever happened between you and Julia?" I just say, "It didn't work out," and leave it at that. I don't need to revisit it. I lived every moment of it. No court battles, no bitter fights. She signed the papers quietly. Maybe she knew it was over before she ever came back to the porch. Maybe when she tried the door and found the locks changed, she finally understood. There was no dramatic confrontation, no teary apology that could fix it. She crossed a line, and I told her exactly what that meant. And then I held to it. I think that's what really broke her. Not the silence, not even the divorce, but the fact that I didn't flinch. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I simply walked away. She kept trying. New numbers, unmarked emails. Same message. I didn't mean for it to happen. You were right. Please let me explain. I never answered. I wasn't chasing closure. I didn't want her to suffer. I didn't need more details to understand. Because the moment she walked out of that house, fully aware of what I'd made clear, knowing exactly what she was doing, that was all the clarity I needed. Sometimes people ask, would you ever forgive her? Take her back? No. Not because I'm angry, but because I finally know my own worth. I gave her time. I gave her kindness. I gave her every opportunity to choose differently. And she gave all of that to Monica, a man who disappeared the second it got hard. I didn't lose my temper. I grew up, and that changed everything. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you liked this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you